Hey guys, this is Bill Rice with Age Lead Store, and today I'm sharing with you 5 tactics that you absolutely must be doing with all of your aged leads. Join me in a second, and I'll give you these 5 tactics and exactly how to implement them with your aged leads. Okay, one of the biggest mistakes that I see people who are purchasing aged leads make is that they often use a sales process that was designed and created for real-time or fresh leads. Now, these could be real-time leads that you're purchasing, they could be leads from your website, or they could be referrals that you're getting. All of those are sort of warm lead sources, sort of a warm handoff, but aged leads are definitely not that, right? Just by the nature of their name and the nature of what you're buying. If you buy 30, 60 days, however, whatever that time increment is age, there's been a period of time between when that person first submitted their form online, their inquiry, their request, and when you're actually reaching out to them. And so today, I'm going to give you 5 strategies specific to working aged leads that will help you overcome that time gap and improve your sales process with aged leads. All right, number 1. Number 1, treat these aged leads like past clients, not like fresh leads. Now that might sound a little confusing, but it makes a ton of sense, especially if you think from the perspective of the customer of the aged leads, right? So one of the little tricks that I always do when working aged leads is when you get that aged lead file, you're actually going to get in there. Any good quality aged lead provider is going to give you the time date stamp of when that lead was first created, right? That's when the customer filled out that form. And I use that as part of my sales process to approach the client in a way that makes them feel like they're a past client, or at least that I was one of the people that was assigned to reach out to them when they filled that out before. So for instance, and this works whether you're talking about voicemail, an actual call, or your email or direct mail, I use that as an anchor point. So let's say that I get a data file in November was when these leads were created, and when I'm videoing this, it's in January. And so I might open up my email or my phone call or my voicemail, something like this. Hey Bob, back in November, you filled out a form online requesting some information about life insurance. We weren't able to connect, but I'd like to follow up and see if la da 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 da, and you go into your sales pitch, right? And so that way you do a couple of things with the customer. One, you put an anchor in their mind that, oh yeah, I do remember filling out that form, right? So that gives them some affinity with you. And then your whole language is assumptive in such a way as to assume that that you are or they're your client. All right, so that again makes them feel comfortable, takes the defenses down. Again, treating them like a past client, not like a fresh, brand new, cold lead. Okay. All right. Number 2, create a drip email sequence to nurture them. So similar sort of thing. You're very probably familiar with actually sending out emails and nurturing clients along, past clients along in your database. So even if they were able to be satisfied in the past when they first inquired and they were able to update their insurance or they were able to get that refinance they were looking for, or whatever the case is, go ahead and start a drip sequence as if they were a past client. So whatever educational content, whatever updates that you're giving to your current clients, just go ahead and start to put them in that sequence. Now, I like to always do a little bit of a welcome there that is similar to the way that I'm reaching out with a voicemail or maybe that initial email contact, again, using that assumptive language around them being a past client. So oftentimes I'll set up a quick 3 email drip sequence that says, hey Bob, we back in November, you filled out a form, we weren't able to connect. Kind of use the same sort of language, do that 2 or 3 times, and then just put them into your normal email sequence of however you're educating your normal client base. Okay, so treat them like past clients, not like fresh leads. Number 2, create a drip sequence that begins to get them into your ongoing lead nurturing program. Then I want you to follow up with calls and voicemails. There's a lot of debate over this, but I think voicemails are important, that don't sound like cold calls. Again, you've heard me say it over and over again. Use that assumptive language. Use that anchor point of when they submitted their last lead or that form fill, and start talking to them as if they've probably heard you before. So, for instance, voicemails don't do things like, "Hey, this is Bill Rice from Age Lead Store." Instead, it's, "Bob, this is Bill. We haven't talked in a while," or "We haven't talked since November," or "When you filled your form out in November, I wasn't able to get a hold of you." Use those kind of openings that, again, just use that language that insinuates that they're already a client and they should be familiar with you. And that will help them, again, lower the defenses and up your credibility. Use lead magnets. Now, hopefully with your emails and those sorts of things, you're driving them back to a landing page, or you're driving back to your home page to get familiar with you. On those pages, on those landing pages, use what I call lead magnets to turn them into fresh real-time leads again, okay? So give them something there that says, "Hey, as they're reading this, why don't you don't have to call me." Like, a lot of people are anxious and intimidated by that first sales call. So give them the option to download your checklist, right? There's probably a series of, this is something real easy for you to make up. There's probably a series of questions that you ask all of your leads. Go ahead and put that into a 10-point checklist and say, "Hey, download this 10-point checklist to see whether or not you need to update your life insurance," right? Or you need to update or see if you can get a lower auto insurance rate, right? And you can actually condition the sale with that downloadable PDF. It could be one page, do it in a Word document, turn it into a PDF, and then again, just ask them for their email to get that. Or you could just drive them straight in, and if you have a way to sort of track that email, maybe you sent out an email and then they downloaded it. You want to be able to track that responsiveness. So depending on what systems you're using, you can either let them directly download it, or you can have them give you their email again, which is okay. It just becomes a fresh, hot lead to you. All right, and the fifth and the last one is get impressions, get more impressions using a multi-channel approach. So take that list, the age leads, put them in a Facebook audience, start to build a remarketing audience, and start to create those impressions in those other channels so that they start to see your face and your brand. So now when this other information starts coming into them, they're familiar with you, and again, they feel like a past client. They feel like they should have remembered you. And that, again, is going to up the ROI. And even if they don't, even if they kind of are a little more sophisticated and understand sort of what you're doing, they'll feel like you're doing a great job of informing and educating them with this additional content. All right, so those are the 5 things. Again, real quickly. Number 1, treat them like past clients, not like fresh leads. Number 2, create a drip email sequence so that you start to move them into your lead nurturing program. Follow up with calls and voicemails that don't sound cold. Number 4, use lead magnets to turn them back into real-time leads. And then 5th, try to get more impressions by using some other channels to make them familiar with your brand. So, hope you liked this video. If you did, I would love to get you to master the thumbs up button. And make sure you subscribe, because we're putting out a lot more sales training content this year, so you don't want to miss any of that. So again, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you hit that bell and turn it on so you'll get all of these new updates. And then if you've got any questions, hit me up in the comments here or reply back on our website, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. This is Bill with AgeLeadStore.com.